It's a sad week for DC fans, especially for those who have been wanting Henry Cavill back as Superman, for him to get a sequel to his Man of Steel movies and make appearances in the DC extended universe. But after we thought that the fight has been won and him making a cameo in Black Adam and officially announcing that he's back as Superman, this happens. James Gunn wrote a series of tweets that Henry Cavill will not be returning as Superman and that they are going on a different approach. They are starting with a young Superman, with Henry Cavill also confirming it on his Instagram page. And it's just sad, man. Anyway, I'm here in this video to pay tribute to Henry Cavill. I mean, this video is my way of saying Henry Cavill is Superman no matter what. So let's jump into the video with top 10 Henry Cavill Superman moments. At number 10, we have Superman confronting Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. This movie was divisive to say the least. I understand that, but when you watch the Ultimate Edition, you get the full picture, or at least most of it, as some of the scenes that were meant to be there were not cut for the theater release. Now, this scene between Superman and Lex Luthor was very interesting to say the least. Throughout the whole movie, Superman has been painted as this god, this unstoppable entity that cannot be stopped, doesn't have any weaknesses. But then you get this scene between Superman and Lex Luthor, which at first sees Superman, confident, powerful, and standing over Lex Luthor, but then drops to his knees, angry, scared, and unsure of what to do when he finds out that his mother is in danger. And then suddenly, it just switches the characters over. Superman at this point is not powerful anymore. Lex Luthor is. Of course, Henry Cavill's amazing performance in this scene sells the character's dilemma, what is going through. Jesse also does a fantastic job. It takes a very powerful, cunning, and intelligent person to beat Superman, and Lex Luthor does it without having any powers. And that's why he's Superman's greatest villain.
And now God bends to my will.
At number 9, we have Superman vs Steppenwolf in Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's undeniable that Superman in the 2017 Justice League was just meh. He had fewer unimpactful scenes, on top of the hideous CGI mess that they did with his mouth, and the overall movie.
Well, I knew you didn't bring me back because you like me. I don't. Not.
There's no way that Zack Snyder's Justice League was going to do any worse. When the League were in trouble, facing Steppenwolf was just like Superman to step in and save the day. And that's what he did when he stepped in front of the axe and saved Cyborg. His confident yet smooth line,
Not impressed.
and breaking Steppenwolf's axe showed him that he's one of the most powerful characters in the entire universe, and proceeded to beat the brakes out of him. Just a hype moment and a delight to watch. At number 8, we have Batman vs Superman in BVS Dawn of Justice. To let you guys know, I'm one of those people who thought that having a Batman vs Superman movie right after Man of Steel was just not earned. But nonetheless, when the movie came out, I did find myself enjoying it, even if it wasn't as much as I thought I would have. Ultimate Edition specifically. So as we waited around the whole movie to have this clash between these two giants of a character, let's say I wasn't disappointed and many weren't. Yeah, people made fun of the Martha scene, but when the clash began, it was a sight to behold. Having Batman don his armor, plus the kryptonite, and being able to use it, weaken Superman and land solid hit in.
Breathe it in. That's fear.
To Superman, who was just confused and shocked that he could even have a weakness of some sort and was being pummeled by just a man. It was really a great fight. From seeing Batman's anger and so-called self-righteous path to eradicate this being before he becomes all-powerful and presumably take over Earth, to Superman, who is just suffering and in pain and just wants his help to able to rescue his mother. It was just a clash of confusion, but the fight did not disappoint at all. At number 7, we have Superman vs Zod's first confrontation in Smallville, when Zod tried to interrogate Martha about the Codex and them choking her, nearly killing her and all that. Superman, in a fit of rage, just rushes in with speed across the country, yelling this line, "Think you can threaten my mother!" Wow, what a hyped up and epic scene. It just shows Superman, Clark Kent, in a different light. Of course, more depth as a character. He's not just, Superman, the Man of Steel. He's also Clark Kent, the man who loves his mother. So you don't ever mess with that. Zod found that out the wrong way. And of course, Henry Cavill's perfect line delivery just made the whole scene more epic than it should have been. At number 6, we have the death of Superman. You can say what you want about how Man of Steel should have had a sequel before maybe Batman vs Superman and maybe another movie that could be against Doomsday, but I bet you most of people who watched this movie felt it when Henry Cavill's Superman died on screen. The scene itself proved and showed the whole world, not only Batman, that Superman is as selfless as he could be. He had a mother and a woman who loved him dearly, but that only fueled the need for him to do everything in his power to slay the beast that would eventually cause their death and the destruction of the world. And that includes sacrificing himself. And of course, his death was a very important part in the DCU at the time, and it was the reason why the Justice League was united by Bruce Wayne. At number 5, we have the rebirth of the Man of Steel. So after his resurrection and his battle with the Justice League and the recovery of his memory after he returned home with Lois Lane, he goes back to the Kryptonian ship, and in a scene that made a callback to the first movie and the first time he took flight, we see him walking as the Kryptonian ship opens up different suits for him to wear, where he contemplates on whether he should be or could be what the world needs and wants at the moment. His arc comes full circle as we hear both of his fathers, their words inspiring him, mirroring that of the first movie. Even though Henry Cavill has no dialogue in this particular scene, his expressions and movement says it all. He takes up to the sky into the Earth's atmosphere, soaking in the sun, and then a biblical reference, much like Jesus Christ, who was the savior of the world. In this DCU, he became the savior and the hope that Jor-El had known he would be. At number 4, we have Superman vs Zod, one of the best comic book fights of all time. After Superman had destroyed the ship, that was the last hope for the Kryptonians to revive. Zod, in a fit of rage, clashes with the Man of Steel with threats of destroying the world and everything he loves in a bone-chilling monologue.
My soul, that is what you have taken from me.
Now, this clash between these two titans was just out of the world. It was chaotic, it was brutal, it was like two gods fighting each other on Earth. Zod adjusting to his abilities and being able to break out of his shell and grow stronger, with Superman, who has grown accustomed to his abilities at this point, also using everything he has to stop him. This led to a fight that many people have dreamed of for a Superman movie, especially after all the animated movies and TV shows that we had watched till then. Truly an epic moment, an epic scene, and one for the ages. At number 3, we have Superman vs the Justice League. This was after Superman had been resurrected by the Mother Box with a fuzzy memory on who he was. So the Justice League comes in to try to remind him of the hero that he once was. But as things escalated and went from 10 to 100, you've had a fight that many people have also wanted to see. Can Superman beat the Justice League? We know Superman is one of the most powerful characters in the entire DC. And the Justice League members, when you compare their power scales, they too are no joke. But in this particular scene, they were not going all out. They were trying to, calm him down. But at the end of the day, they were still trying to bring him down, and that is when we see Superman's strength, how he easily overpowered them. And this scene also reminds us of how scary Henry Cavill's Superman can be. Of course, one of the best parts of it is when the Flash attempts to stop him with his speed, but then realizes and shocked that Superman can also nearly match his speed and nearly kills him. And also his second confrontation with Batman. Especially after watching BVS, we all wanted to see this scene, play out. But it just goes to show, if this was the Superman that was facing Batman in BVS, we wouldn't have even had the time to use the kryptonite. At number 2, we have the Scream. After an epic and crazy fight with Zod, the climax ends on a sad and surprising note. Superman is forced to kill Zod. And no, this isn't just about the families he was just going to kill right there. It was about him declaring that
I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. These humans you've adopted, I will take them all from you one by one. One way this ends, Cal. Either you die or I do.
And of course, knowing that there's nothing that could have stopped him apart from the horrific thing that he had to do. On a normal occasion, a villain's death is a victory for the hero, right? But not for Superman. Superman doesn't kill, just like Batman. But he had to, since his begging didn't stop Zod at all. After Zod is down, Superman drops to his knees and lets out a heartbreaking scream. Genuinity of Henry Cavill's scream all the more makes the scene sad and impactful, truly making him the last son of Krypton. Also, the lesson learned there, he never wants to feel that way again. Superman is never going to kill again. Now at number 1, we have Superman's first flight. Now, just like Christopher Reeve's 1978 first movie, Zack Snyder treated this scene like an event, an epic moment in the life of Clark Kent, yet to become Superman. As we hear his father's monologue and his dream and hope for him, and his belief of him truly changing and becoming the hope of humanity, everything slowly builds up. We are treated to a powerful lift up and flight as Hans Zimmer's amazing score plays in the background. We see a genuinely happy Clark Kent who is happy to don on the suit for the first time and also fly, and that is not only on both the character but also the actor as well, as Henry Cavill has expressed his love for the character and his happiness for playing him. It was truly a glorious scene, one of the best moments of Henry Cavill as the man in red and blue. Now that's it for the video. I felt like this was just flying through memory lane. These were some of the best moments. There are others, maybe I'll make a part 2, but it's just genuinely sad and just frustrating and messed up that they brought him back only to send him away. Like, James Gunn could have just totally made work of these characters in the DCU at this point, made a 10-year movie plan with them, and then 10 years later rebooted the DCU through an epic Crisis on Infinite Earths 2-parter movie. But hey, it is what it is. We will take what we have and appreciate the fact that Henry Cavill was and still is Superman in our hearts. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these moments of Henry Cavill as Superman. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and turn on that post notification bell not to miss any other video. As always, Nerdy Sage here. See you guys in the next one.
It's been a while since anyone's made the world this nervous.